Curious to get your take on Trump and tariffs. Boy, if the Supreme Court rules against the administration, that's going to be problematic for sure.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And let's remember, this won't only be a ruling against the Trump administration. This will impact every president going forward. Tariffs are the stick in the carrots and sticks of diplomacy. And if this is taken away, this is going to have a significant impact on the way the United States operates around the world when it comes to ensuring our national security here at home. The other thing is these tariffs, if they have to be repaid under the Trump administration, would just send us into an absolute spiral. And you will actually see adverse actions be taken as a result by our international adversaries.
Charles, China is announcing it's cracking down on chemicals after Xi Jinping reached a deal with President Trump. China announced restrictions on 13 drug-making chemicals that they ship to the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. These chemicals used to make fentanyl. Now, in the deal, the Trump administration agreed to lower tariffs against China. Charles, will this actually, though, result in more lives being saved of American children? I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, well, here again, we see the effects of tariffs at work. President Trump threatened to increase them 100% over what they currently are, which would have put them at about 150% in total. So it got China's attention to take action. And what we're talking about here are the synthetics, the foundation of fentanyl that comes out of China and goes straight to the cartels. The CCP, the Chinese government, is very much aware that these synthetics are the foundation and being sent to the cartels that are then killing hundreds of thousands of Americans a year. So it's time for China to take action. Of course, we have to take this with a grain of salt when they say they're going to do something about it, and be prepared to take action should they not decrease the overall production of fentanyl.
Hey, Charles, I do want to get back to the tariffs issue just really quickly, because you said, and rightfully so, that a ruling against the Trump administration's tariff policies would have effects on other presidents as well. But isn't this really a more direct attack on President Trump's policies, since he really is the first president in modern memory who really has used tariffs as a way to exert leverage, if you will, over other countries?
Yeah, and not surprising, President Trump has used the economic power of the United States to his advantage, especially when he's at the negotiating table. You know, we saw a very quick example of that during his first term when he sat down with leaders of NATO and threatened them for not paying their fair share to support the operations of NATO. And he brought to bear, through a threat to withdrawal, all of the economic support from the United States for that organization. And guess what? Not surprisingly, it worked. So President Trump, like nobody in history, knows how to use the economic levers here, especially as it relates to our national security. I can't tell you how devastating this will be if the Supreme Court strikes down the executive branch's authority to implement tariffs as a means to national security strategy for the country. This would be absolutely catastrophic.
Well, Charles, let's continue on that theme, because earlier you said in one of your answers to my first question, you said there would be adverse reactions. That was your, that's a quote from you. I'm quoting you, Charles. Adverse reactions from international actors. What did you mean by that, and what does that look like exactly? How do you think that could play out?
Well, for example, why would China stop providing the synthetics used in fentanyl, without a viable threat of the president being able to implement the tariffs of which he speaks? Why would they not invade Taiwan? Why would Russia seek to end the war with Ukraine? I mean, we can go on and on and on, but if we lose this mechanism to hold other countries, both allies and adversaries, by the way, accountable, sticking to their promises, taking the right actions in an effort for overall global stability, and the tariffs aren't a viable option and no longer allowed, then why would any of these countries play ball with the United States? You know, we would have to come up with other threats. to kind of isolate and contain those countries that we needed to do so.